Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Macaranda podcast. I am your host, Eleanor Evans Medina, and thrilled to introduce you to one of my colleagues and clients and friends, Amelie Rey. She is a natural medicine facilitator in training. And in Colorado, with the Natural Medicine Health Act, this is a licensed role, which means that Amelie gets to work with people in a structured, intentional way using plant medicines like psilocybin mushrooms or magic mushrooms and psychedelics to support healing. She and I are in the process of building on to the Macaranda method and bringing this psychedelic-assisted therapy and somatic work and the 4 pillars of the method into one integrated approach for mental health and well-being. Today, she and I are going to talk about something that I think a lot of you need to hear, and that is that anxiety and OCD don't have to be a forever diagnosis, and that the path forward with psychedelics might actually be really helpful.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Amelie.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
It's such a treat to be able to hear from you and have you share your story with us, because I think so many people can relate.
Yeah, thank you. Ooh, it's been a journey.
Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us, how you are here now and where you were before psychedelics, and that's pretty much what we'll be diving into today.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I've come a really long way. Thanks to you, and thanks to me. But I really want to say thank you. I wouldn't be where I am today without you, and I'm really, really grateful. Yeah, really grateful. And I think I know the universe brought us together for a reason, so it feels really wonderful to be sitting here with you.
I'm all filled up with tears.
Me too.
Happy tears.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I've come a long way. I have dealt with anxiety and OCD for a lot of my life. I consider myself in remission these days, actually. Thoughts still pop up every once in a while, but I am so much better than where I was. And I've done a lot of work on myself to get to this place and had some very hard times. I think just to start off, I'll say that the culture right now with psychedelics and psilocybin specifically, as I see a lot of people and a lot of articles about it being this cure-all, and I don't think that's necessarily true or realistic. I think you still have to do a lot of work, and that was my experience. And it is the most powerful medicine I have ever come in contact with for me and my own healing. And it wasn't easy always. There were some really beautiful moments and some really, really hard moments, and I had to face some things, especially from my childhood, that were really hard to face. It wasn't an easy journey, and I'm also so grateful for the journey and really grateful that I was able to go into those places and face things that I just don't think I ever would have gotten to through talk therapy. It's a much deeper layer. I was able to really move things through my body that had been there for years, decades. Yeah.
Yeah, you bring up a really important point that I see in the articles that I read on the news about the quick fix, silver bullet, magic pill. And I think it will be important for you to share what the work has looked like for you so that a lot of work. What does that actually mean to you in your lived experience? And I also want to bring forward this curiosity of what is anxiety and what is obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that we are now in this place of natural medicine facilitators in training in Colorado, you know, how do we work with these different quote unquote disorders, and what did the medicine help loosen within you to help you face and do these next levels of work that talk therapy couldn't access?
Great questions. To answer the anxiety and OCD piece, I have a belief that a lot more people have OCD than are diagnosed. I really, really believe that. I think that we have a lot of information culturally about anxiety, and I think OCD is a subsect of anxiety with how I understand it, with anxiety being this kind of umbrella term, and then OCD being a specific part of anxiety where there is a component of obsessions and compulsions. And traditionally with OCD, I think a lot of people think of it as somebody performing physical compulsions over and over again. So turning a light switch on and off, or walking up and down the stairs a bunch of times. And that is just such a gross overgeneralization and a disservice to people who may be dealing with this. Because pure O, as it's called, means that there's no physical compulsions. It's all mental. It's all in the brain, which is what I dealt with. It is obsessive rumination, and the compulsion becomes checking or seeking reassurance about something. And so for me specifically, to get specific and vulnerable, is that I have dealt with OCD with the subsect of, or the theme of harm, which is, there's a lot of different themes within anxiety, within OCD, and harm is one of them. Another common one is relationship OCD. There's a lot of different themes, and a lot of the times OCD falls into one of these buckets. For me, it was harm, specifically around my safety, and really having violent images in my mind all the time of horrible things happening to me, and then needing to do these compulsions to make these thoughts go away or make myself feel safe. It was really, really, really intense, like kind of like a horror movie playing in my mind all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I remember you telling me
it was
that.
so horrible. I don't wish it on anybody, truly.
Gosh.
And so for me, I didn't have any physical compulsions, but I was constantly seeking reassurance that I was safe. A lot of it was asking my partner to explain to me, why am I safe right now? Can you explain it to me? I didn't trust myself to actually logically be able to get to a point where I could convince myself that I was safe, because I would always go to the worst case scenario. The 0.0001% thing that could happen that was so unlikely, and yet my mind would latch onto it and kind of convince me that that was going to happen. So for example, like an intruder coming into my house at night, and I would see the whole thing start to finish before I would fall asleep at night.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just really horrible images. And then a lot of checking for me. So checking to make sure all my doors were locked, that I would like look out the window 10, 15 times before I went to sleep. So is these, I guess that could technically be a physical compulsion, but it really felt like it was in my mind, and I needed to check things over and over again to make sure and convince myself that I was safe.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
intense.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I think it's also really important for me to share where I think this comes from for me, which is that I had cancer when I was younger, when I was 12. And through a lot of self-reflection and psychedelic work and therapy and somatics, I've come to understand that at that time in my life when I was going through cancer, I felt so unsafe in my body. I felt like my body was betraying me, essentially. And I was very young, and I was faced with my own mortality, and it was really scary. And I think that for me is where this fear of my safety came from, because I always felt unsafe in my body ever since then, as if the other shoe could drop tomorrow. The cancer could come back. I just didn't trust my body to keep me safe. And so I think it very naturally, in a way, became this obsession with my safety. It feels to me like a pretty clear path of how I got to that fear and that obsession with safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Mm-hmm. When did you realize that that's where the OCD was coming from?
Whew, that's a great question. It took a really long time.
Did it?
Yeah, I spent years basically telling people I had cancer, but it wasn't a big deal and I'm fine.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. Really long time.
Including in therapy too?
I didn't start therapy until I was 20 years old.
Okay.
So it took a long time for me to get there. It was when I lived with my grandma in New Mexico, who was such an inspiration to me in so many ways and really was my introduction to this world of psychology and, just deeper thinking and spirituality and all those things. And
What's her name?
Judith.
Judith.
Yeah.
Hi, Judith.
Hi, Judith.
Thank you.
She's here. She's
Thank
here
you.
with us.
Uh-huh.
She had an amazing therapist that she went to, and I was visiting her one time, and she asked me if I wanted to have an appointment with her. And I said, sure. I've never been to therapy, but something that would be interesting to me. And I had an hour-long session, maybe an hour and a half, and this woman kept coming back to me having cancer and saying, I think there's more there. And I remember saying, nah, I think I'm fine. I don't think it impacted me that much. Yeah, she was right.
Wow.
She was right. So good insight there. And then from there, I really started unpacking things, and I had anxiety and some OCD around some safety stuff with planes, actually, right after I had cancer. So as early as 12, 13 years old, I was terrified to go on planes, and that's how I really remember that feeling of being unsafe starting. And then from there, it kind of, same theme for me, but it twisted and turned depending on my life circumstances. And then after college was when the fear of being at home by myself or feeling unsafe in my home at night got really strong. And so it got so bad that I ended up on anxiety medication, which helped. But my psychiatrist, who was amazing, told me she didn't want to prescribe me medication without me also seeing a therapist consistently, which is...
Thank God.
Thank God. She's also the one who told me I should try psychedelic-assisted therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing person. So then I started going to therapy consistently. It took me a while to find a good therapist, but that's when I started unpacking a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, wow. So fascinating that you hadn't made the connection
I know.
to the cancer. And also knowing a lot about you and knowing, we've done a lot of work together too. There's also layers, if I may be so bold, to add in from your family.
For sure.
And I think that's maybe some of what has been unpacked through the work with psychedelics. All of the different psychedelics that we've worked with, which are many at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's such a good point. And even more recently, I've really come to the conclusion of the impact of my ancestors on my fear as well.
Yeah.
And really the harm that has been done to women on both of the sides of my lineage, it's pretty intense. A lot of sexual trauma on both sides, and poverty and silencing of women. And I think it's pretty interesting that I had throat cancer.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that a lot of the women in my family were silenced and weren't able to use their voices.
Wow.
And the throat chakra is the chakra.
Chakra.
Thank you, John. Chakra.
John Medina's my husband's very specific about how we pronounce things.
Which is good. It's good. Yeah, the right way to say things. Yeah, it's the chakra of your voice and communication and being heard and speaking your truth. And it feels very interesting that that's the type of cancer that I had.
At such a young age.
Such a young age.
Right? Like it had manifested in your body for you to do the unraveling of what the silence had done throughout your lineage.
Yes.
I have to just give so many thanks to my teachers who have taught me about the power of lineage and the work that I have done with ayahuasca, the plant medicine from the Amazon and from the jungles. I mean, I didn't know about ancestral healing at all until I sat in my first ayahuasca ceremony in 2015. And it really opened up my world to the importance of ancestral healing. And then I bring that into the work that I do. I started as an underground psychedelic guide, and now coming up into the legal landscape as a medicine facilitator. I believe that the conversations that we have, like when you mention your grandmother, simple stuff. You mentioned your grandmother, I say, what's her name? We bring her into the room. Hi, Judith. We see you. We're here with you, right? There's this way that I've learned, thanks to the plants, thanks to my medicine teachers that have opened me up to that side, that I don't know whether or not you would have gotten there without that. You very well may have, but I believe that this work is so much bigger than the individual. Like, you releasing this anxiety and this OCD, Amelie, is so much bigger than your quote-unquote OCD and anxiety.
Oh.
There is generational unwinding that you are doing.
Yeah.
Thanks to this work.
Oh, so well said. And what an incredible privilege to be the person who has the time and the space to do this work. None of my ancestors had the opportunity.
And the money.
And the time and the resources. Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is a privilege to heal my lineage.
Right.
And all future generations after me will benefit from it. I will not be passing on anxiety to my children. I won't do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Truly. I mean, what a gift.
Yeah. So what made you want to go into this field to become a natural medicine facilitator? I mean, obviously it helped you change, but can you walk the listeners through this journey? You know, you shared about your grandmother, this therapy session, and then kind of can you paint the rest of the unwinding of the OCD and anxiety to where you are now?
Sure. Yes, I can. So I was on medication. I was
an antidepressant.
An anti-anxiety. I was on Lexapro, to be specific.
Okay.
And it really helped. I think we overprescribe medication, and I think there is so much power in medication when it's really needed.
And paired with therapy.
Yes.
Hi, I'm an asterisk. My little inner therapist self is like, it is just a Band-Aid if we're only taking the pill. We're only taking the medicine, right? So incorporating that into the psychedelic movement in general and the psychiatry movement in general. Like we this is not a Band-Aid situation, and sometimes it is absolutely necessary for people to take these medications to help them out of a suicidality, out of the ruminating thoughts.
Yeah.
But it is not I believe, and I want to hear your perspective too, Amelie, because I've never been on anxiety medication or medication in general, except when I was a child. I truly believe that this work allows for us to unwind if we're aware of the patterns. It's like the medication lets us step out of it enough and then allows for us to do the work to then wean ourselves off of the medication. These should not, in my opinion, be medications that we put people on for the rest of their life and that's it.
I could not agree more. The way I like to explain it to people who haven't been on medication or who are interested in talking through it is that medication gives you space in your brain. Sometimes when anxiety or depression or mental health is so loud, for me personally, what happened is that I didn't have space in my brain to even think about what I could do to help myself heal because I was so occupied by these thoughts. It's like every second of every day just felt so hard that trying to heal or seek different ways that I could heal felt way too overwhelming. And so I took medication. It gave me space in my brain to work on the root cause. Hi, we've got a kitten.
A kitten climbing on Amelie's lap.
Oh,
this is Leon.
This is just my favorite thing. Hi, baby. Oh. The purring.
Come on.
Oh, well, that's a good distraction. So it gave me space in my brain to be able to actually think about how I could heal. And then, like you said, it was a Band-Aid, and I was able to work on the root cause.
And sometimes we need a Band-Aid.
Straight
up. Like, you're bleeding. It's like, we got to stop the blood. You know? Like,
totally.
There's an important reason for that.
Yeah.
And then the next step is, what's the root? What is the root cause?
So that you can come off the medication, which I did.
Take off the Band-Aid.
And I also want to say I did my first 3 or 4 ceremonies on medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very low dose.
I tapered down a lot. But it took me a few ceremonies to get to the point where I felt that I could come off my medication. And it was so beautiful because at that point I realized that I didn't feel any differently without my medication.
Yeah.
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 And I'd done the work to address the root cause.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we didn't want to take you off the medication before you were ready.
Exactly.
And we upped your dose a bit.
Yes.
Because we know that specifically with some of these medications with psilocybin and other medicines too, we have to give a little bit more because the medication tampers the tolerance, even if you have no experience with the medicine at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I want to also say that I experimented with psychedelics in college, and I think I've heard from some people too of saying, oh, I could just do these medicines on my own. It's night and day. It's completely different to do them in an intentional setting with somebody who's licensed to support you with really good preparation and integration. It's just completely different when it's done in a therapeutic setting.
Right.
And I needed that container to really be able to feel safe to go into these deep wounds. And my very first ceremony, so to backtrack a little bit, I was working with a psychiatrist. She told me I should consider psychedelic-assisted therapy. And at that point, I lived in Colorado, and she was going to refer me to somebody in Oregon, and I didn't really want to fly out to meet with somebody I didn't know. I just didn't feel right. And so I decided I was going to do my own research and look for somebody in Colorado, and I literally found you on Google. I don't know. The universe, again, said...
What did you search?
I think I searched psychedelic-assisted therapy.
Uh-huh.
I think. I must have.
Thank God you found me.
Yeah.
And I found you.
Thank God. Thank God.
And then you joined my newsletter.
I did. I joined your newsletter, and then I kind of kept up with what you were putting out there. And I wasn't even really sure what you offered. I just saw that...
Cryptic.
It was cryptic.
It really was, because I was working underground.
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't say.
I think I saw your microdosing
guide
and thought, okay, this is we're getting there.
Okay.
And then about a year later, January 2023, I got one of your newsletters, and it said that you were holding an earth circle, and I got a full body yes. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I will be doing it. And then I contacted you and signed up on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure did.
Sure did. I was in.
She was in. Mm-hmm. And you've been in ever since.
Yeah. I found my people.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the first ceremony was so incredibly powerful.
Can you give a little setup? Like, how did it go? What was the prep like for you? You know, because I think sometimes we just are like, and then we sign up, now ceremony. It's like, actually, with the way that we do it at the Makaranda method, it is a method. And so if we could just talk about that and those pillars, that would be great. And what stuck out for you, because I know me as the founder of the method, I know what it's doing, but for those who are unfamiliar, and for you who actually went through it, what stuck out?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just remember the intentionality more than anything else of really learning to slow down right away and check in with why I was doing this in the first place. I mean, it was also a fairly big price tag for me at the time. And I think that's part of it is important. It's important to put money and resources into it to really take it seriously.
Yeah.
And to, respect the amount of work that goes into somebody facilitating a ceremony like this. You're not paying them for that one day. You're paying them for the decade of experience that they have that goes into that day with you sitting with them. It is so much work and so much learning and so much training to get to a point to effectively hold space for people. It's not easy, and it's also really beautiful. So that's my little side note there. So the intentionality, the pillars, I remember taking Ground, your course that you offer to people who are sitting with medicine or working with you. And there's so much good information in there. And I really started to think about what I wanted my life to look like. What would it look like if I wasn't scared all the time? Yeah.
I mean, that in and of itself. I want to ask the listeners as well, like, what would it look like if you weren't scared all the time and bracing for the worst case scenario? How could your life be different? How would our world be different? How would your lineage be different?
Just sit with that for a sec. And it's so interesting sitting here and reflecting on it, because that life that I had visioned for myself is what I'm living now.
Wow.
It's possible.
Heck yeah, it is.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And it's just so wildly different from where I was. So it really was the intentionality, the possibility of what my life could be. Mm-hmm. And at that point too, I was so ready. I had such I was so tired of living the way that I was living. I wasn't going to do it anymore. I just made a decision that I didn't really care what it took. I was going to work on it and get to the root of it, because like we've talked about, the medicine or the medication was a Band-Aid, and I knew that there was so much underneath that needed to be worked through.
Yeah.
And I was really, really ready to do the work.
I think that is paramount. Mm-hmm. You know, in therapy, in the world of therapy, we talk about where people are in the stage of change. Mm-hmm. And you were in the action.
Yeah.
And there's contemplation. I think I want to change. I might be ready to change. And then there's the decision, like, it's happening. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. Yeah. And you were there. And that's where this work is most helpful. Mm-hmm. If someone's like convinced to do psychedelic therapy because their partner thinks it's going to be good for them, mm-hmm. it doesn't go as far. I mean, they might have some really great things, but if the person doesn't believe that this is going to help them, it won't. It's kind of, it's just like whatever you put your attention on is what you make real.
Yeah.
Which is the first lesson of Ground.
Yeah.
That online course that Amelie was talking about to help prepare for a psychedelic ceremony. And, you know, the other thing that I want to share at this point, that's something coming up for me right now, is, you know, I was working with a client recently and she was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling. Like the medicine, I don't know what the medicine's supposed to be doing to me. And I said, you need to work with the medicine. Mm-hmm. The medicine's not going to do it for you. Mm-hmm. And it's the same type of, okay, you were actively, Amelie, engaged.
Oh, yeah.
In your healing process. You weren't just laying back waiting for the medicine to work on you. Yeah. You were in collaboration with, and that's what really good preparation helps you to do.
Absolutely. It's a relationship with the medicine. Every time I sit with psilocybin, I do what I learned from you, and I introduce myself and I say, welcome back to my body. Welcome back to the work we're doing together. Thank you for being in relationship with me. What do I need to know now?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a relationship.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's not a cure-all pill, silver bullet. It's a relationship, and I think that is a really, really big difference.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what eating the full mushroom itself allows for us to do. I mean, there's a lot of conversation around, are we extracting the psychoactive components of the mushroom? And there's a lot of debate around it at this point, but I think the more that we can stick with eating the whole mushroom, whether we make it and turn it into a tea or we just eat the whole thing, you know, we can do it in a lot of different ways. But I do think that having the entirety of the mushroom adds to the whole experience of being with the medicine as it's grown from nature.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You know, as a nature therapist, as someone who believes that we need to go back into our roots, bringing the whole fruiting body in can make a big difference as well.
I think so too. It's a level of respect too for the medicine, because these are powerful. It's a powerful medicine.
Yeah.
And it should be treated with respect. And
they say they're called Niños Santos in Spanish. From the Mazatec people who brought the psilocybin mushroom to the white man, who, you know, there's a whole other story behind that, which is devastating. The way that the Mexican people, specifically the Mazatec, were used by this white man, Gordon Wasson, back in the 1960s, and they would call these mushrooms Niños Sagradas or Niños Santos, the sacred children. And they are this. They awaken this sacred essence within the person within the being that consumes these medicines that have been consumed by all beings for all of time, right? The stoned ape theory is another one. Like, we've been eating these mushrooms to help the evolution of our consciousness since the beginning of time, from what we know and what we've seen in history. And so just taking a moment to pause and just recognizing the sacredness, because they're incredibly powerful, and they tap us into other realms.
Yes. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they're coming to the surface at this point in our culture and society.
Yeah.
The mushrooms know we need them.
Yeah. Truly, we need them.
We need them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they also need us.
Yes.
Because it's a relationship.
Exactly.
They teach us what to do to care for our earth.
Yes.
To care for ourselves.
Yes.
To care for each other.
I'll be covering my whole face. Care for the earth, please. Yes. Yeah. Yep. It's a relationship. And that's really what I learned in my first ceremony, was the relationship that I was building with these mushrooms and the surrender to what they wanted to show me.
How did you do that?
It was hard. I took a pretty high dose right away because I knew I wanted to...
5 grams?
5 grams.
Yeah, and we had MDMA on board.
We did. Yeah, and I mean, right away, I got dropped into myself at 12 years old having cancer.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah,
immediately.
Yeah, I remember.
And
also, I want to name, too, that this was a group ceremony.
It was.
There were others there as well, but this was your own personal experience, laying down.
Yeah.
Eye shades on.
Eye shades on. John playing music.
Yeah.
Which is...
John playing live music.
The music is such a teacher, too, and such an important part of the experience. Truly. Just so important.
Yeah, we brought in the big sound system.
Yeah. Yeah.
The DJ setup, the whole deal.
Yeah, and I think really it was a song that John was playing right off the bat.
It was an ikoro.
It was an ikoro, yeah. And it brought me right where I needed to go, which was myself at 12 years old, having cancer. And I just remember crying and crying and crying and releasing things that had been held in my body and feeling the loneliness that I felt at that time. I felt so alone in that experience.
Of cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. Not of sitting with mushrooms. I felt very supported then. But yeah, I just felt like the deep, deep loneliness of being 12 years old, going through cancer. I had just moved to a new town. I didn't have that many friends. It was just a really hard time. And I had told myself for so long that I was fine and that it didn't really impact me that much. And I just got cracked open in that ceremony.
Yeah.
In a really beautiful, necessary way, though. I needed to release what had been stored in my body. And that was my whole first experience, was processing that time of my life. And
kittens running.
Oh, so beautiful. But really processing that experience, and not to jump ahead, but it was so interesting because the next time I sat with mushrooms, about 8 months later, I think, I remember sitting with my lying down with my eye shades on, and kind of having this thought in my mind of, oh, that first ceremony was so hard. I really don't want to go back there. And the mushrooms answered me and said, yeah, you're good. You don't need to go back there. Let's move on to the next thing.
Ooh, I have goosebumps.
Not to say that I haven't processed the impacts of the cancer since then, because it touched so many parts of my life, but I didn't need to go back to being 12 years old. I had spent 8 hours journeying and going there and processing through it and reliving a lot of things. I mean, that year of my life, still to this day is kind of a black hole because it was so
when you were
traumatic.
12?
Yeah, when I was 12. And I have little snippets. And so really what I did during that ceremony was process the feelings associated with that time.
Yeah.
And I let myself feel it, and I also let myself release it.
I remember a specific moment in the ceremony where you were, I don't know if you asked for help or I just felt that you needed some support. And so I came over to you and I said, hello, my dear.
Yeah.
What's coming up for you? And you said something about feeling alone.
Yeah.
And every part of me, my like inner therapist, lover, heart open woman is like, wanted to say, I'm here for you now.
Yeah.
Like I can hold you. And you said something like, who can I go to? And instead of making myself the mother, I said, you can go to the earth.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so beautiful. And the context that happened before that was that I had such a beautiful conversation with you on the way back from the bathroom where I said, when I was going through cancer and I was that young, I felt so alone and I had no one to hold me.
That's right.
And then you said, or somehow we got to, well, what about you today? Like, can you hold your younger self? And I said, yeah, I can. And we processed through that, and I had the visualization of holding my younger self and being there for her. And really, I told her that she could let go, because the fear that I felt was my younger self, my 12-year-old self, saying, I need some sense of control. I'm afraid, and I need to take over because I don't trust you to have things right now, to have it together and to keep yourself safe. And then I told her, no, you can relax and I've got this from now on. And then I went down a layer deeper, like what you were just talking about, and said, well, if I have my younger self, who has me?
That's right. And
then you said, what about the earth? And I said, yep, that'll do. That works for me.
And then I led you through a brief exercise of letting yourself exhale and surrender into being held by the earth. And there was this somatic unwinding that I could see happening within you, leaning into this trust that you are held.
Yeah. And then I got to release a lot of that loneliness and a lot of the fear to the earth, which is the ultimate holder.
Yeah, she is. And we connect on that.
Yes,
I mean, you and
deeply.
I think that was one of the first things that we talked about when you were applying for an Earth Circle. I said, one of the questions is, what's your relationship with the earth? And you just said, she's number one. I mean, there's like, your dog Maple, your husband, and the earth. I was like, I love this because that's the same for me.
Yeah, I studied environmental studies in college and it changed my entire life. And I just have such a deep, deep relationship with nature, and that is my happy place. Nature is my church.
Yes.
And I feel a deep responsibility to treat the earth kindly and with respect, and to hopefully leave her better than when I found her.
Yeah.
And it's hard these days. Whew. She's hurting.
She is, yeah. Yeah, I know. And this is, it's so interesting. Just yesterday, I was talking to somebody and I said, I'm a nature therapist. And he was like, oh, you work with mushrooms? I was like, well, that's the first time that's ever happened where someone's just made that assumption. But yes, in fact, I do.
Well, it is natural medicine. It's interesting.
Yeah.
The choice of wording. Yeah.
But I love that, it's like, this is, and I think that's the thread that really kept us together.
Yes.
To say, you then, just to jump ahead a bit.
Yeah.
After that, is there anything else you wanted to say about that first ceremony?
No.
Ceremonies
ceremonies subsequent to that, I think it's important for me to say kind of the major lessons that I've learned that have led me to be able to really release the anxiety and OCD, because it got better after that first ceremony, but it wasn't healed or in remission. It took quite a few more to keep unpacking the layers of what was underneath there. And the major themes for me of what psilocybin has taught me, and just the Makaranda method as well, is the importance of letting go of control and release and surrender and trust in the universe. I mean, I'll speak broadly, but if we are so set on having this plan for our lives and try to control every little piece of our lives, then there's no room for the universe to show you something better than what you can imagine.
Oof. Let's pause for that.
Yeah. And that's what I learned. And what's so beautiful about sitting with psychedelics is a lot of the times you don't have any choice other than to let go. I mean, you can choose to fight it, and people certainly do.
Oh, that's a choice.
That's a choice. And I've seen it and I felt it, but it's just so much easier in the moment to let go and to let the medicine take you where it wants to take you, because there's things that you might need to see or unpack about yourself. And if you're so tightly wound up and so in control, the medicine's gonna assume you're not ready and that it can't take you there. And so a lot of what I've learned is to use my breath to release the tense control in my body and really breathe through that and just allow myself to be present so that what needs to come forward can come forward. And that's a lesson I've come back to every single ceremony. And it's really the concept that I love that John shared, your husband, before the first ceremony, which is the concept of spanda, which is the constant and universal contraction and expansion of the universe, and that for every contraction there will be an equal expansion. And that is just the law of the universe. And that is the law of me sitting in psychedelics too.
Yeah.
That if I'm going through a really hard time, it is not forever and it will end. And there's so much beauty in going through that hard time, because I will get to expand afterwards. And the more I contract, the more I expand. And so I just continuously remind myself of that, both in psychedelic ceremonies and in life too, of when things are really hard. It is not forever, and that there's a lesson and an expansion on the other side.
Such an important lesson.
Yeah.
Thank God for that lesson. And thank
Life-changing.
God we're not always in contraction and also not always in expansion.
Yeah.
We need it. It's like the inhale is the expansion and the exhale is the contraction.
Exactly.
We have to have both. And this is, this Sanskrit, the spanda is Sanskrit. And there's a, be reminded of these lessons of the universe that actually can sink in during the psychedelic journey is so extraordinary.
Well, that's exactly right. It's one thing to talk about it, but then what psychedelics does is it allows you to feel it somatically, which is where the somatic piece comes in and is so deeply important. I can go back there in my day-to-day life because I've felt it in ceremony. And I know I know what it actually feels like. And so then I can find it again. If you've never felt it, you can talk about it all you want, but how do you get there without kind of being cracked open and needing to allow yourself to truly let go? I feel like psychedelics for me, it forces me to let go again and again and again until then I can bring that into my everyday life and release control. And that's what anxiety is. It's control.
Yeah.
Anxiety and OCD is this need to try to control every situation, and life is uncontrollable.
Exactly.
And so I think the antidote to Anxiety and OCD is letting go and trying to learn how to be uncomfortable or be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right. Right.
And it's really hard, and psychedelics really help
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Because the ceremonies are uncomfortable a lot of the time.
I mean, they just push you into it. It's like, this is the option. This is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. You can resist it or you can release into it. And I think it's important to talk about the distinction between just thinking about letting go and doing it and being and feeling it in the body and letting the body know this is how we let go. This is how we release. Amelie's talking about the breath, talking about breathing into the earth, talking about trusting the process, saying thank you for the hard moments, listening to the music, practicing meditation beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a huge part of the method. The Makaranda method is having a mindfulness meditation practice before, so that as you're riding the ride of the psychedelic experience, you're practiced looking at your thoughts, watching your thoughts, redirecting your thoughts back to the present moment, which makes it a lot more accessible when you're under the influence of the medicine. And that's all a part of the preparation, and you really set yourself up for that. You set yourself up to be able to let go.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think that's very well said. The meditation is such an important part of it, and the learning to sit with yourself. Oh, life-changing. Mm-hmm. Just as life-changing as psychedelics. Really.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think they must go hand in hand.
They must go hand in hand. And for me, I'll say it took me a couple of ceremonies to even recognize I needed a regular meditation practice. I would meditate as part of my prep, and then it would kind of fall off. Mm-hmm. And then I came back and remembered, oh yeah, breathing, being present with myself, so important. And so after I think maybe 3 ceremonies, I really committed to making it a part of my daily life. But it took a while for me to learn that lesson. And that's why I think with psychedelics, you kind of need to keep coming back and keep developing that relationship, because there's always so much more to learn.
Yeah. With space in between.
Yes.
And then
to process and integrate. Ooh, integration. So important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because without integration, it's just an experience. With integration, I'll speak for myself, I was able to integrate the lessons into my daily life and actually create change so that I could heal and get off my medication and no longer feel anxious. The integration was the most important part.
Mm-hmm. And what did that mean to you, the integration? It kind of makes me think of one of the things that we talked about in our apprenticeship, which you did with me.
Mm-hmm.
Amelie did a year-long apprenticeship with the Makaranda method, with 7 women total, including me. And it makes me think of one of the lessons that we learned where we go back. It's called recycling, where we see the lesson again and we're given an option to go down the old path or to choose the new route. And then we sometimes have to learn the lesson many times.
Yeah.
And it's not that when we get to the recycling that it's a quote unquote bad thing. It can actually be really supportive in helping reinforce those new pathways within the brain for decision making for something new. But I'd love to hear maybe an example around your OCD or anxiety to kind of tie in how you've been able to change.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I think integration is so important. I actually gave my final presentation on integration at the end of the apprenticeship. And the quote I came up with, because I interviewed all of you to really get some research on what this looked like for all of us. And what really I came up with, which I think is so accurate, is that psychedelics opens a door, but then you get to choose whether or not you want to step into that next room. You can stay in the room that you're comfortable in, or you can walk through the door into the new room and integrate into your life. So to give a specific example, I mean, I think the meditation example is really a great one of how deeply that has impacted me and how I had to learn the lesson 3 times in ceremony of the importance of being present and breathing before I actually implemented it into my life. And with the anxiety and OCD specifically, I think the letting go piece that I still constantly come back to in ceremony is a constant piece that I'm integrating all the time. Because if I feel an anxious thought start to pop up, which happens so much less frequently than it used to, I know that I choose my thoughts and that I don't have to follow that thought into a violent image or a scary movie playing in my head. I see my brain making that thought and I say, thank you for trying to keep me safe, but actually I've got it from here. And I don't need to try to control this future situation that hasn't happened yet. And I speak to my brain.
Yeah.
And It's like tire tracks. There's a path in front of you, but the more that you drive on it, the deeper the grooves get. And so I'm constantly deepening those grooves and creating these new pathways for myself of I'm actually not going to follow that path. And I'm going to I get to choose my thoughts and I'm going to choose beauty and not fear. And
holy moly.
It doesn't always, it's not perfect. I mean, sometimes the fear will pop up and I have the tools now to not let it bring me into an OCD spiral where I'm texting Frankie saying, I know we're going on this hike, but I think it's going to be really scary. And can you just tell me why I'm safe? And Googling all these things and whatever it might be that I'm scared of in that moment. I actually, instead of trying to seek external reassurance or control the situation, I just sit with myself and I breathe and I choose not to go down that path. And it's a choice.
Wow. It sure is.
It is.
And I think the presence of it, coming back, breathing, feeling into the body, looking around. Am I safe right now? Is there anything coming that is harmful? And then feeling your body, feeling your hands, putting your body on the earth, taking some deep breaths, having a sip of water. It's like basic.
Yeah.
And a lot of the messages that come from these psychedelic experiences are pretty basic.
Yeah.
It's like back to the basics of what it means to be a human and how to be present, period. And then meditation solidifies that in our day world when we're not under the medicine to reinforce the pathways that we're actively choosing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's again, back to the 4 pillars, it's all of it. It's mindset, nurture, nature, movement. It's all of them. And they really do go hand in hand perfectly to actually enact change. And you need all 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other pillar that I've been playing with.
Oh, yes, I love this.
We can kind of close up on this note.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in this psychedelic work, there's a kind of a couple pillars that are finding their way. The one that's been sticking recently is, so we have mindset, movement, nurture, nature. Those are the 4. And then one more is actually the nectar. And the nectar, so makaranda means nectar in Sanskrit. And I'm a beekeeper, and there's so much to this nectar story. But what I hear and what I learned in my psychedelic training at Medicinal Mindfulness Academy, which I'm just officially graduated from this week.
Congrats.
So exciting. We talk about this inner healing intelligence that exists within all of us. we're actually made to heal. You know, we think about getting a cut and then needing a Band-Aid. And our body just knows how to heal the cut.
Yeah.
Which then we take the Band-Aid off, right? It's the same thing as all these other medications that we're talking about. But there is this inner healer that exists, that lives. It's this holotropic principle. Stanislav Grof talks about it a lot in his work with psychedelics. And if we can actually just let go and get out of the way and quiet the mind and open ourselves up to the absolute miracle and mystery that is human existence on Earth in 2026, we can naturally heal. And that's what these medicines and this method teaches us.
Quiet the mind, open the heart.
Quiet the mind, open the heart.
There was also a question that you were asking me before I started talking about my other ceremonies. Do you remember what it was, or if there was something specific you wanted to talk about?
Oh, you know, I think the final thing is like, what are we doing now?
Yes.
Where are we?
Yep.
Like, so you did the apprenticeship with me, which was a year-long training. We're tuning into what the next phase of the apprenticeship is going to be. So stay tuned on that. Follow our newsletter. Amelie is officially coming into the Makaranda method as a therapist, as a guide. We have transitioned from her being my client to her being a colleague, which has been a really amazing experience for, I think, both of us.
Yes. Oh, I would say yes.
And so we actually have a meeting today with the Makaranda method community, these several women who are a part of our program, to vision what is to come with the regulated licensed model and or personal use and or therapy, so on. So we'll see what wants to be created. But, you know, I'd love for you to share, perhaps to close, like, what are you visioning? What, you know, now that you no longer live in this world of fear, like, what do you see now?
What a great question. First of all, I'm holding a purring cat, so that's part of my vision.
Little. That's little.
Hi, baby. Oh my gosh. Love. I envision a life where I'm in deep alignment with what I see for the world. So, and I get to help people heal, and I get to open up to the great mysteries of the universe, and I live a life with deep contentment where I'm passionate about what I do, and I get to share so much of what I've learned with people, and I get to be a lifelong learner. I get to learn every day from amazing people and from clients, and I want to live in a state of awe and openness and love. And whatever might come my way, I feel really rooted and grounded and supported, and I'm not afraid of what might come because I am a different person and I have the tools to deal with those things and handle those things. Whereas before I felt so off-center, and I just felt like I was floating around in space with no roots. And now I just feel a lot more stable and steady and aligned. And it's just a completely different feeling than what I had before.
Night and day.
Night and day. It's really amazing. And I also really believe that everybody can get here. And I think it just takes some perseverance and a decision that you want to change your life. And you have the ability to. We all do.
We all do.
And we all have the right to live the life of our dreams.
That's so much of what I love to do too, is
Yeah.
support people in envisioning what do you want.
Yeah. So many people don't know.
I remember we had a ceremony, and that was the whole premise of it. Like, let's dream into what you want.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing. What a beautiful vision of what you want. And it is.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And I feel now how, I just trust you. You've been through your own work. You've looked, and it's not like it's over, but you've done so much to get yourself here that now that you're stepping into the role of facilitator, you can do it because you've done it for yourself. One thing I recorded a podcast last week with Josh Capel, my lawyer, who wrote part of the Natural Medicine Health Act, which is the license that Amelie and I both carry to be able to work with psilocybin legally in Colorado, which is such a gift. And Josh said, for the psychedelic facilitators, it's like, it's so important for us to have our own journey work, our own experience in order to guide people, because he said, imagine going to someone and saying, hey, can you be my tour guide around Africa? And they're like, yes, I've never been. Let's go.
That's such a good metaphor.
I would love to show you around.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you would never do that.
Never.
Like, we want to go and sit and travel and journey with people who have journeyed themselves.
Yeah.
As many times as possible without it turning into overuse of medicine. There's this fine line.
Definitely.
For sure, that is important to name. And you have walked the path. You are walking the path. You are on the medicine path of you doing your own work, similarly to me. And that's what I believe true medicine women, medicine people get to do.
Yeah.
We're not just blind guides.
Oof, so well said. I think it's important to ask your guide what their relationship is with the medicine. How many times they've sat. What their journey is. And what their continued relationship is. Are they continuing to sit? Are they continuing to look at themselves? And I think that's a very, very important part of who you choose to do this work with.
And listen to yourself. If you're looking to do this psychedelic work, be discerning.
Yes.
Listen to the yeses and listen to the nos. And if you don't know how to do that, call us up.
Yeah.
Because we can help you with that.
We can.
Amelie said she had a full body yes when she got the message that I was leading an earth circle. It was like she knew on a cellular level. And that's so much of what I think this work gets to do. And, thank you for being a part of the Makaranda community. Amelie, thank you so much for sharing so open and vulnerably with us. It's such a gift to hear your story and to see you now and experience you in this woman who you're becoming. It's just such a gift for all of us.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for walking this path with me and being such an incredible teacher. I am so grateful.
It's my pleasure. Un placer, mi amor. Thank you for being here, everyone. You can find us at themakarandamethod.com. See you next time.
Bye.